So here's something that you need to understand. The current Western civilization acts as a ruined empire already, acts as a country that has been already taken over and subverted. The stuff that we push on our youth through social media, through television, through whatever means necessary, right, is stuff what a conquered nation would receive from a conqueror that wants to destroy it and completely subvert it and completely destroy it off of the face of the earth. It's mind-boggling that the stuff that we push into our youth, right, here in the West, especially in the United States, is absolutely garbage. Absolute garbage. Just take the very simple example of TikTok or one of those social media, but TikToks precisely. If you open TikTok in as a Chinese young person, the algorithm that reaches you is totally different than what would reach you in the UK or the United States or in Western Europe. And there you would see young people on TikTok making good life choices, learning karate, learning, making academic achievements, and so on and so forth, right? And well, what's happening here? Girls dancing half naked, right? Men not being men, and so on and so forth. People making fun of their parents, and not even like there's not even close of what is being pushed here. It's absolutely mind-boggling, and people just take it because freedom, right? What you don't understand is that acting upon each and every desire that you have, bodily desire, right, is not freedom. It's actually slavery. Probably that's the biggest slave mentality, that you have this minute percent of freedom to destroy your body or mind the way you want to destroy it, and then they give you a palette where you can choose your own form of destruction and you don't even know it. Being your own ruler is freedom. Being able to rule your own desires, your own thoughts, and your own inputs, especially your own inputs, is the biggest freedom that we need to strive for, especially here in the West. And you have to understand that, because back in Romania during communism, we did not have that. There's a difference between a conquered nation and a subverted nation. And Romania, communist Romania, had no desire of self-destruction. It did not. It wanted change, and it was oversold on change, and it got change. But, that was a long time ago, right? 89 was a long time ago. And now we're getting to the point where almost all of the bad parts of the communist regimes got transferred into whatever is left of capitalism, or at least the bad parts of capitalism, and it is being infused together to make this system, this control system, this control mechanism where you are ruled over just as if you would have a dictator but without one. This faceless system that the shadows of there just abide by. And it's quite weird, because another thing that people misunderstand, that these types of economic systems, whether it's feudalism, capitalism, socialism, communism, fascism, whatever, it is being pushed on a nation when someone decides that that is the best system to exploit them. And you only really have to take a look at who has been funding the big movements in Europe, right? The two big movements in Europe that happened in the 20th century, whether we're talking about fascism and who funded that, whether we're talking about Bolshevism and who funded that. It really doesn't matter what the end goal is, right? What the end product is. What matters is that that is the best solution for that nation to extract productivity out of. And that is why you see a lot of these random dictatorships that got popped up in Africa or some other parts of the world. And it's always the same book, always the same play. Randomly, one of these dictators think that they are powerful enough that they want to bite the hand that fed them, that gave them the seat of power, right? Always the same. Whether we're talking about Iraq, Libya, you name it, and just many small countries as well. It's always they have something change in them where they see like, oh, well, this power could also be used to actually somewhat benefit the people that I'm related to, right? And that's their coffin. Whether if it happens the same year, a couple of years later, as soon as they make that decision, okay, we have enough wealth that we have extracted for the foreigners, let's maybe try to do something else. As soon as that idea pops into their head, now we start suddenly caring of all the things that they did, right? And it's weird. I mean, it really is a grand chessboard. And once you have like a non-partisan, once you do not care, you don't see the world in colors and the colors of politics, then I think kind of the scales fall off your eye and start seeing what the world really is and how it's being treated. And what does it do to you, right? What good does it do to you? It really goes back to that matrix question. It really goes back to that matrix question of what do you do if you start seeing the world as it is for what it is, right? And the people are just walking into the system, living in the system, dependent on the system, and there's nothing else that they know than the system. And they are ready to destroy you if you want them to wake up, because this comfortable dream is all that they have. And you have to feel compassion to these people. You have to feel compassion to these people. But what do you do when you see that they are being, financially speaking, they are being pushed to the slaughterhouse, right? And that is the big sin of people who try to wake up people on the masses, right? You have this wiggle room of space where you can wake up, you can do something else, you can go outside of the system, try to live that way, right? And hope, you have a couple of years until it catches you where you are. The big sin is if you try to wake up too many people that the system treats you as a threat, and then it will try to deal with you. So you cannot have a pyramid. You cannot build on a leader, on a movement. It all has to be individuals. Each and every one of us have to wake up on our own accord, on our own time, and from our own will. And that's very important, because if not, then what we're really doing is enforcing our own ideas on others who do not want them, even if that idea is one of freedom. It's quite interesting, but if you preach freedom for the ears who do not want freedom, you are infringing on their right to be slaves. And that seems to be a sin.